Hello there guys, Bilbo10000 here, bringing you another episode of Rate Their Chances, the series where we rate the chances of potential newcomers making the base roster for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Make sure to check out the previous episodes in the card in the top right corner if you haven't already. This is episode 5, and after talking about third parties last week, I issued the comments a challenge. Whoever has the highest liked comment as of me scripting this video would have a character of their choice rated in today's episode. And the lucky winner with 69 likes is Splat-Agent 4. Congratulations! Though, as you can see, this comment came with 5 different names. And who am I to say no to free suggestions? As such, today I'll be taking a look at the 5 characters from Splat-Agent 4's comment. So, the characters we will be looking at today are Skull Kid from the Zelda franchise, Chorus Kids from the Rhythm Heaven franchise, Chibi Robo from the Chibi Robo franchise, Marx from the Kirby franchise, and Rayman from the Rayman franchise owned by Ubisoft. Without further ado, let's begin, and be sure to leave your thoughts and ratings in the comments below. Like Ashley, Isabelle, Shadow, and Dark Samus from previous episodes, Skull Kid falls into the category of a character who had an assist trophy in Smash 4, only it has yet to be seen for Smash Bros. Ultimate. As such, like with those other characters, people have raised their hopes for Skull Kid to finally make the leap to becoming playable. Skull Kid is a character who appeared in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess, though his major role comes from Majora's Mask as the primary antagonist for the majority of the game, controlled by the real antagonist Majora's Mask. He's one of the more recognizable antagonists of the Zelda franchise, and as such is more than a simple flavor of the week character. His moveset could be inspired by the magic behind Majora's Mask, using attacks that could cause status effects, or even Link's Ocarina from Majora's Mask and the various songs that you could learn. You could also use the tendrils from the Majora's Mask boss fight as well. Obviously, his final smash would be the moon from Majora's Mask crashing down into the battlefield, and I imagine he could have a recovery move that uses the fairy companions from his game, possibly? Though, ignoring the moveset potential for Skull Kid, timing is actually on his side here. Going by the knowledge that the roster was finalized between the end of 2015 and the first half of 2016 due to the project plan, the remake of Majora's Mask came out in February 2015. Putting him in a rather ideal spot of relevancy. On top of this, there have been requests within the Zelda fandom for a new Zelda character that represents more than just the 3 pieces of the Triforce, though whether Sakurai has heard those requests is unknown. If we take the ballot into consideration, however, Skull Kid may not be in the best spot, as known assist trophies were likely to not receive as much support as characters that had no representation within Smash 4. So, Skull Kid has many pros and cons regarding his situation that have to make you wonder. As such, I don't think he's a safe bet, so I'll be giving Skull Kid a 15% chance to join the roster. It could happen, and I could see him being a new Zelda rep, but at the same time his assist trophy might return, as it would take less dev time porting existing trophy assets across to Ultimate from Smash 4. Though, for a want score, he gets a 90%, because I want more Zelda and I absolutely love Skull Kid and Majora's Mask. So it's a match made in heaven really when he represents my 3rd favorite game of all time. If there's a franchise other than Golden Sun that I feel has been criminally underrepresented in the Smash Bros. Series, it's the Rhythm Heaven franchise, and there has been a passionate fanbase who are clamoring for a Rhythm Heaven fighter character, and at the moment, the spotlight is on the Chorus Kids. These little guys were part of one of the most iconic games in the Rhythm Heaven franchise, Glee Club, where you took control of the 3rd chorus member and attempt to sing along with your peers. These guys could have a similar moveset to Duck Hunt Duo or Mr. Game & Watch, representing their entire franchise in their moveset. We know that Marth's Dancing Blade requires rhythmic B-taps to work successfully, so implementing a character based on rhythmic inputs to execute attacks would be an interesting challenge and could be the basis of the Chorus Kids. However, that presents its own problems. It would be a drastically difficult moveset to learn, and that might put Sakurai and the team off of giving them dev time because they want characters, even the toughest, to be accessible to any player. And I can't really talk about the Chorus Kids without addressing the elephant in the room. The Gamatsu leak for Smash 4 that stated they would be playable characters for Smash 3DS and Wii U. This never came to pass, but we know that they were at least considered at one point for becoming a character, but never made it to production. Ultimate is all about bringing back ideas from the past so far, Sukapon's assist trophy being a prime example as a scrapped item that was meant to be in Melee. So is it a strange idea to think that perhaps Sakurai revisited the Chorus Kids and made them work? Especially without the limitations of the 3DS to hold them back. I really believe if any Rhythm Heaven rep is going to get in, it will be these guys. I just don't think anyone else from the franchise compares. I'm a casual Rhythm Heaven player, I played the first DS game, and I know exactly who these kids are. So keeping all of this in mind, I'm giving them a chance score of 40%, the same I gave Isaac back in episode 1. They are a new IP and a character people want, but the question remains whether Sakurai is going to introduce new IPs to the Brawl or not. I do think these guys are more plausible than some people think though. As for a want score, I give them a 90%. I'd love to see these guys as they're my favourite Rhythm Heaven characters, and I think they'd be absolutely hilarious to try out and even main in the future. To round out the potential new first-party IPs for this episode, we're headed to yet another high-in-demand character along the lines of the Chorus Kids and Isaac as far as new IPs go. It's Chibi Robo. This little guy has starred in multiple games, and his most recent game was released at the end of 2015, right before the speculated time that Sakurai began conceptualizing the roster for Smash Bros. Ultimate. While his last game wasn't the success everyone wanted it to be, perhaps his legacy and unique abilities could warrant him a spot on the roster. He's got potential for a lasso style of gameplay, using his zip plug to battle his way through Smash, and feels like the sort of character that could have a wacky, out-there fighting style that Sakurai is known for creating. I'm not familiar with Chibi Robo as a series in the slightest, I'm afraid, so my moveset ideas are limited, but he is a Nintendo IP that has gone underrepresented as far as a playable appearance goes. And given how there are only so many first-party IPs that have yet to receive proper attention in Smash, it makes you wonder whether Chibi Robo could finally have his moment. His chances lie in whether Sakurai wants to focus on first-party IPs and is dependent on how many new IPs Sakurai is willing to add to the roster. He'd be potentially up against other unrepped franchises like Golden Sun, Custom Robo, and Rhythm Heaven, but his unique playstyle and relevancy due to his 2015 game make him more of a prime candidate, at least when the roster was created. Though it's doubtful whether he had any success with the ballot, I could see Chibi Robo getting represented in Smash Bros. Ultimate either as a new character, or potentially as an assist trophy that utilizes the lasso mechanic to throw fighters off the stage, similar to Midna. As such, I give him a chance rating of 20%. Unlike the Chorus Kids, Chibi Robo's series is pretty much dead at this point after Ziplash failed to sell, so Sakurai may not want to dip into a franchise with no future. As for a want, I give Chibi Robo a 50%. I'm neither here nor there, so I'm completely neutral as to his potential inclusion. Aside from Bandana Waddle Dee, there's only one other character from the Kirby franchise that seems to be in extremely high demand to be added, and of course, it's another villain for the roster. As the main villain of the final subgame Milky Way Wishes in Kirby Superstar Ultra, Marx is an incredibly popular villain. And unlike Dark Matter, the other popular Kirby villain rep, Marx has one extra notch above him. In Kirby Star Allies, he is a playable Dream Friend with his own unique moveset that could theoretically be ripped into Smash. Dark Matter has never had a playable appearance, yet Marx now has a playable appearance which elevates his status in the franchise. But, and this is a big but, this means absolutely nothing if we're looking at the base roster only. Star Allies came out this year in 2018, and Marx was free DLC, so he probably wasn't planned in the game's very initial designs, meaning his playable status would have no effect on his chance to be an Ultimate due to the roster being finalized back in 2016. So Marx would either have to rely on the ballot, or Sakurai looking back at the Kirby games he worked on, given Sakurai created Kirby, and thinking, Marx deserves a shot. Personally, I find him more recognizable than Dark Matter as far as villains go, and though Magalore from Return to Dreamland was also quite the popular choice among the fans, I just don't think he holds a candle to Marx as far as iconic status goes. That being said, despite Marx being one of the best choices for a villain, that doesn't mean he's getting in at all. I think Bandana D is more likely to get in from the Kirby franchise in Ultimate, and Marx I feel would be better suited to DLC, as now that he's relevant with Star Allies, they can build upon his character and perhaps introduce him in 2019 now that people are more introduced to the character. As such, I give Marx a 15% chance score. It could happen, but it would be on his merits alone, and not his playability in Star Allies, though I would expect to give him a higher score for DLC. As for a want score, I give Marx a solid 65%. He's a cool character, great design, interesting abilities, slightly demented, great villain qualities all around. When I think about potential third-party characters being added to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, my first thought is 100% going to be Ubisoft's Rayman. The limbless wonder himself, Rayman has been a request from fans for a very long time. He has a massive history on Nintendo consoles, and is a beloved video game mascot, even if he isn't on the same level as, say, Sonic or Mega Man. Rayman comes from a very distinct line of platformers, with Rayman Legends being an absolute blast of a game that really gives the character a unique style, though I must confess my first contact with Rayman was with the tie-in Rabid minigame compilations for the Wii. While I've not played many Rayman games, however, I can recognize an awesome design when I see one. His major gimmick that could work in Smash is his detached limbs. Not to mention, being from a platforming franchise, he's got a wide variety of different items and powers that could aid him. On top of this, you could even incorporate the Rabbids into his moveset to echo the popularity of the recent Rabbids Kingdom battle, and the fact that they have been heavily tied to Rayman in the past. We know that limbless fighters can work thanks to the Sukapon Assist trophy, so from a moveset standpoint, Rayman has quite a lot of possibilities. So it comes down to whether Ubisoft and whether they'd be willing to play ball. Honestly, I could see them easily negotiating Rayman for the game, given Nintendo and Ubisoft's current partnership and how they were already working on Kingdom Battle in 2015, showing a good relationship between the two companies. Not to mention, I can't finish this segment without Artsy Omni's famous leak. His infamous Rayman leak drummed up so much hype that once it was disproven, I imagine Rayman got a massive boost of support, which would show up on the Smash ballot. Ubisoft doesn't even have a Smash rep yet, and Rayman would be a perfect first person to represent their franchises and their company. So I'm gonna give Rayman a 75% chance. I think he's got the best shot possible right now to get into Smash, and it just depends on how the chips fall. As for a want, I'll give him a 45%. I'm not the biggest fan of Rayman, but I could see why people love him, and it would be great to see the infamous Rayman leak finally come true. So that's all we've got time for today. Thank you everyone for watching, and once again, a shout out to Splat-Agent 4 who suggested these characters. If you want to see someone rated who hasn't yet appeared in this series, leave a comment down below and the ones with the most likes may just turn into the Thursday's roster. And before we go, I want to just say thank you to everyone who has subscribed since I started the Smash content. We're almost at 6,000 subscribers, and that's such a crazy milestone, and I'm so excited to hopefully hit that goal. So please consider subscribing and sharing this video on social media or with friends to help spread the channel. You'd be making my dreams come true. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Hey there guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Sorry I'm talking quietly, it's very late at night, neighbors sleeping, all that kind of stuff. We just hit 5.8k thousand subscribers, 5,800 subscribers. I'm in shock. I'm so emotional. That's kind of crazy. The growth has been insane, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching the videos, to my Patreons, and to everybody just who is supporting the channel so far. You guys are amazing. If you want to help support the channel on Patreon, you can check a link down below. You get little access to stream events and other fun stuff over on Twitch and, you know, a few extra things. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe, share this with your friends, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.